Ever imagine yourself in ancient Rome? Not the Colosseum this time, though.
No, not the
They were
Colosseum.
heading to a spectacle even grander.
A place that could hold 250,000 roaring fans.
The Circus Maximus.
Yeah.
Today we're diving deep into this Roman icon.
It wasn't just entertainment,
Oh, I bet it was more than just chariots.
It was a symbol of Roman power woven right into their society.
A stage for emperors' politics and all that.
You've got it. And we've got incredible sources for this deep dive.
Ooh, like what?
We've got historical accounts,
I love those.
archaeological findings, and even some ancient graffiti.
Wow, graffiti, that's amazing.
Gives us a glimpse of this lost world.
Okay, so first things first, where was this legendary Circus Maximus?
Okay, picture this. Rome nestled among those 7 hills.
Classic Rome.
The Circus Maximus was strategically located right in a valley between 2 of them,
Okay, which two?
the Palatine and Aventine Hills.
So kind of like a natural amphitheater.
Exactly, perfect for spectators
Practical.
and super symbolic.
Okay, interesting. So the location was both practical and symbolic.
Right.
Why is that significant?
Well, think about it. The Palatine Hill was home to the wealthy and powerful.
The elite.
Yeah, exactly. And the Aventine was where the common people lived.
So right in between them.
Right there in the middle, the circus became a gathering place for all Romans.
Ah, I see. Bridging the gap between social classes.
In a way, yes, at least for a day.
So it wasn't built in a day, I'm guessing.
Ray, think back to the very early days of Rome, before the Republic even.
Wow, way back.
There was already this simple track in that valley, probably for foot races.
Oh, yeah, and like religious processions and stuff.
That's right. Simple beginnings.
So how did it transform into this massive spectacle we know from history?
Well, as Rome grew in power and population, so did the demand for entertainment.
Always got to keep the people entertained.
Right, so they started with wooden stands, and then they replaced those with stone.
Wow, all to accommodate those crowds.
Yeah, everyone was hungry for the thrill of those races.
I bet. And then came Julius Caesar, right?
Oh, yes, Caesar.
He wasn't just a military genius.
Well,
He knew how to work a crowd.
he really did. He understood the power of connecting with the people.
Yeah, I bet he saw the potential of the Circus Maximus.
Absolutely. He launched this massive expansion of the circus.
How massive are we talking?
They increased the capacity to an estimated 150,000 people.
Wow, 150,000. That's bigger than a lot of modern stadiums.
Right. That's a lot of people to entertain.
Yeah, a lot of people to keep happy.
And Caesar used the circus brilliantly
Oh, how so?
to strengthen his hold on Rome. He incorporated it into his triumphal processions.
Triumphal processions, what are those?
Think those elaborate parades celebrating military victories?
Oh, yeah, like showing off the spoils of war and everything.
Exactly. Imagine it. Elephant soldiers, captured spoils, all parading through the circus.
With Caesar himself at the front, I bet.
Of course, Caesar himself basking in the adulation of the crowd.
What a power move.
Oh, yeah. Solidifying his power through entertainment.
So clever.
And it created a legacy his successors couldn't ignore.
Speaking of successors, what happened after Caesar?
Well,
Didn't Augustus, his heir, kind of inherit the Circus Maximus as well?
He did, and Augustus wasn't one to shy away from grandeur.
I bet he kept all the good stuff.
Oh, yeah, he understood the importance of symbolism and spectacle, just like Caesar.
So how did Augustus leave his mark on the Circus Maximus?
He added his own touches, enhancing its splendor.
Oh, give us an example.
One of the most striking additions was an obelisk from Egypt.
An obelisk?
Like a towering four-sided stone monument,
Oh, yeah, I've seen pictures.
tapering to a pyramid-like top.
Okay, yeah, I know what you mean.
This particular obelisk, it was a massive symbol of Roman conquest
Brought back from Egypt.
as a spoil of war, and Augustus placed it right there in the Circus Maximus.
Another power move.
Also a nod to the sun god Apollo.
And Apollo was associated with chariot racing.
Exactly.
A multi-purpose obelisk.
You got it, a reminder of Roman might attribute to the gods and a spectacular centerpiece for the circus.
So they weren't just building a racetrack.
Yeah, they weren't.
They were crafting a monument to Roman power.
A symbol of their own legacy.
They knew how to make an impression.
Oh, they did. But, like any grand structure, the Circus Maximus faced its share of challenges.
Oh, I bet fire, maybe.
You got it. One of the most dramatic came in 64 A.D.
Ah, 64 A.D., the Great Fire of Rome.
That's right.
The one Nero supposedly started?
That's the one. It destroyed much of the city,
Including the circus, I bet.
including large parts of the Circus Maximus.
Oh, man, what a setback.
Imagine the damage, the loss, the sense of destruction.
Had to rebuild, though, right?
Oh, yeah, on a massive scale.
So who took on that task?
Emperor Trajan.
Trajan.
He was known for his ambitious building projects.
Yeah, wasn't he a big builder?
He seized the opportunity to create the version of the Circus Maximus closest to what we see in its remains today.
Oh, wow. So the Circus Maximus that archaeologists are uncovering now, that's largely Trajan's vision.
Pretty much Trajan's reconstruction was a masterpiece of Roman engineering.
I bet he used that Roman concrete
Vast quantities of it.
for strength and durability.
It was incredible technology for the time.
So even in its ruined state, what we see of the Circus Maximus today, it's a testament to Trajan's ambition and Roman engineering.
Absolutely. But now let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
You talked about the structure,
And emperors.
the fires.
It's all fascinating.
But what was it actually like to be a spectator at the Circus Maximus?
That's what I want to know.
Let's imagine it's race day in ancient Rome.
Take us there.
What would we see, hear, experience?
Lay it on us.
First off, the hype would be building for weeks.
Oh, I bet.
Walking through the streets of Rome, seeing advertisements painted on walls.
Oh, yeah, like the gladiatorial games are coming.
Exactly. You'd hear people hawking snacks and souvenirs. You'd feel the buzz in the air.
Like the excitement leading up to a big game today.
Very much so. And when the day finally arrived,
Game day.
the atmosphere would be electric. Approaching the Circus Maximus, this imposing structure dominating the skyline.
You can just feel it.
As you get closer, the sound of the crowd grows louder.
All those people.
Cheers, shouts, laughter, a cacophony of human noise.
I bet it sends shivers down your spine.
It really would.
Yeah.
So how do they handle such massive crowds?
Yeah, was it just a free-for-all?
Not at all. Surprisingly organized.
Oh, really?
Remember those numbered arches we mentioned?
Yeah.
They were like the ticket booths of today. You'd find your assigned entrance based on your ticket
Okay.
and begin the ascent through a maze of corridors and staircases.
Crowd control and assigned seating, even back then.
Yeah, it was a carefully choreographed system designed to move those huge crowds efficiently.
Smart.
You'd climb higher and higher, the roar of the crowd growing louder with each step,
Building the anticipation.
until finally you emerge into the blinding sunlight and see
The Circus Maximus in all its glory.
a sight to behold.
I bet it was. But we'll have to wait till next time to actually step into those stands.
That's right. Join us for part 2 of our deep dive as we experience a day at the races in the Circus Maximus. It's a journey you won't want to miss.
So hit that subscribe button, folks, and don't miss part 2 of our journey back in time to the Circus Maximus.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Circus Maximus. Last time we left you at the top of those stairs, ready to enter the stands and experience a Roman race day firsthand.
And trust me, you wouldn't want to be late. This wasn't just some quick race.
Oh!
It was a day-long extravaganza.
It really was.
A spectacle blending sport, politics, religion, and pure entertainment.
You said it, and you've got to remember, this place could hold 250,000 people.
Wow.
That's more than most modern stadiums.
Yeah, that is a lot of people.
So finding your seat among that sea of faces was just the first challenge.
Okay, so let's imagine we found our seats. What's the vibe like in the stands?
Well, that would depend entirely on your social standing.
Ah, right. Those strict Roman social hierarchies. So the closer you were to the track.
The more elite you were, the best seats in the house were right at the track level.
Makes sense. So who got those prime viewing spots?
Senators, wealthy equestrians, all those folks.
And what about the emperor? Where did he watch the races from?
He had his own luxurious viewing platform.
Oh, really?
It's called the Pulvinar,
Pulvinar fancy.
elevated above the crowd, offering the best view in the house.
Ah. So the emperor's box, sort of like the VIP section of ancient Rome.
You could say that.
But it wasn't just about comfort, was it?
No, not at all. The emperor's presence was a powerful reminder of his authority, you know.
Yeah, his connection to the people.
He was the ultimate provider of entertainment.
So the Circus Maximus was a political stage as much as a sporting venue.
Exactly.
And a savvy emperor could really use it to his advantage.
Oh, absolutely. By hosting lavish games, the emperor could win over the crowd,
Show off a little.
demonstrate his generosity, and really reinforce his position.
We've talked a lot about the spectators and the emperors.
Right.
But I'm curious about the people who made all this happen behind the scenes,
Oh, yeah?
who kept this massive spectacle running.
That's a great point. You know, there were hundreds, maybe even thousands of workers who kept the Circus Maximus functioning.
Oh, wow. I never really thought about that.
They were the unsung heroes of this grand spectacle.
What kinds of jobs are we talking about?
Well, think about the track crews,
Okay.
maintenance workers,
Keeping everything clean and running.
the people responsible for those elaborate starting gates.
Right.
And let's not forget the vendors. selling food and drinks to that massive thirsty crowd.
A whole city within a
It
city.
was a massive operation, a well-oiled machine powered by human effort.
And then, of course, there were the stars of the show, the charioteers.
Ah,
These guys were the gladiators of the racetrack.
risking their lives for glory and fortune.
Celebrities, I bet.
Absolutely heartthrobs, some of the highest paid athletes of their time.
How much are we talking?
Some charioteers earn the equivalent of millions of dollars today.
Wow, millions. That's incredible.
But let's not forget how dangerous the sport really was. These guys were literally putting their lives on the line every time they climbed into a chariot.
You mentioned crashes earlier,
Right.
the ones they called shipwrecks. What made chariot racing so dangerous?
I mean, just picture it hurtling around the track at breakneck speeds.
Okay.
Inches away from other chariots, the constant risk of a catastrophic crash.
Yeah.
Chariots would collide, horses would go down, charioteers would be thrown into this chaotic tangle of men and animals.
Oh, man. It sounds terrifying, but also incredibly thrilling. I can see why the crowds went wild for these races.
Absolutely. And then there's the added layer of team rivalry. It wasn't just individual charioteers competing.
Right, it was like teams.
Yeah, they were part of teams, each with its own colors, fan base, and those intense rivalries.
Like the greens and the blues.
Exactly. The greens, the blues, the reds, and the whites. I bet those rivalries were fierce.
Oh, I bet. They could get out of hand sometimes, right?
Oh, absolutely. Things could get pretty heated. There were brawls in the stands,
Wha-
sometimes full-blown riots.
Wow. The emperor must have had his hands full.
Oh, yeah. He had to be careful not to show too much favoritism toward one team or risk inciting unrest among the others.
Managing the crowd almost as important as managing the empire itself.
You could say that, but now I think it's time to witness the main event.
Okay, let's go.
Let's imagine we're in the Circus Maximus, the anticipation is building, the crowd is on its feet, roaring.
The emperor takes his place in the pulvinar.
A hush falls over the crowd, and then a fanfare of trumpets signals the start of the day's events.
Okay, so the races are about to begin, but what happens first?
Well, before the main event, there's a procession,
A procession.
this dazzling display of Roman pageantry.
Okay, so designed to awe and entertain.
Exactly.
So what does this procession look like?
Picture a parade of musicians, dancers, acrobats, all dressed in colorful costumes,
Wow.
moving through the circus. It was a spectacle of movement and color, a feast for the eyes.
Do they showcase Roman military? Might as well.
Of course, no Roman spectacle would be complete without it.
Had to flex those muscles.
Legionaries would march through the circus, showcasing their discipline and strength, a potent reminder of the power of Rome.
Stirring up those patriotic feelings.
Very much so. But finally, after the procession, it's time for the chariot races themselves.
Okay, let's get to the races. What's the setup?
Imagine 12 chariots, each drawn by 4 powerful horses lined up at the starting gates.
I can picture it.
The charioteers clad in their racing colors, whips held high, their eyes focused on the track ahead.
The tension must have been palpable.
Oh, absolutely. The crowd chanting, stomping their feet, urging their favorite teams to victory. The noise would be deafening.
And then the starting gates fly open.
Exactly. And the chariots explode forward in a cloud of dust.
Oh my God.
It's a chaotic scramble, a battle for position as they thunder towards the first turn, the most dangerous part of the track.
This is where those shipwrecks happened.
That's right. Charioteers would jostle for position, wheels would lock, and chariots would be sent careening off the track. It was a heart-stopping spectacle.
Both thrilling and terrifying.
You got it. And how many laps did they race?
I don't know how many.
7 laps, 7 heart-stopping circuits of the track. They'd race around the spina, that central barrier that ran down the length of the track.
Oh, okay, that's where the obelisk Augustus erected was located, right?
Exactly. It stood tall at one end of the spina, a silent witness to the triumphs and tragedies unfolding below.
And speaking of triumphs, what about the victor? What did they win besides bragging rights?
Well, they received a palm branch, a symbol of victory, and more importantly, a huge purse of gold.
Nice. It was a moment of glory, a testament to their skill and daring.
It was, but the dangers were never far away, even in victory. There was a constant reminder of the risks they took.
So we've seen the thrill of the races, the pageantry of the processions, the sheer scale of the Circus Maximus.
We really have.
But I have a feeling there's more to this story. Something darker lurking beneath the surface.
You're right. The Circus Maximus wasn't just a place of entertainment. It was a microcosm of Roman society with all its complexities and contradictions.
And that's what we'll explore in part 3.
Join us next time as we delve into the darker side of the Circus Maximus, the gambling, the violence, and the social tensions that simmered beneath this grand spectacle.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've journeyed back to ancient Rome, explored the grandeur of the Circus Maximus, and experienced the thrill of a Roman race day.
We have.
But as we've hinted,
Right.
there was a darker side to this spectacle, a side that reflected the complexities and contradictions of Roman society.
Absolutely.
You mentioned gambling,
Yes.
violence,
Uh-huh.
social
This
tensions.
is all there.
Let's unpack that.
Yeah.
Just how prevalent was gambling at the Circus Maximus?
Oh, it was rampant. People bet on everything.
Everything.
The races,
Yeah.
the charioteers,
Mhm.
even individual horses.
Wow.
Fortunes were won and lost in a heartbeat.
So it was serious.
Oh, yeah. Imagine the bookmakers shouting odds,
Oh,
the crowds placing bets,
yeah.
the tension as the chariots thundered down the track.
It sounds like a scene straight out of a movie, a Roman betting frenzy.
Yeah.
So this wasn't just a harmless pastime?
No, not really. Gambling was a serious business.
Yeah.
And it could lead to desperation,
Uh-huh.
debt,
Okay.
even violence.
Wow. The stakes were high.
Oh, yeah.
And the consequences could be devastating.
Absolutely.
And what about the violence? We had talked about the inherent dangers of chariot racing.
Right.
But did things get out of hand in the stands as well?
Oh, they often did. The crowds at the Circus Maximus were huge,
Yeah.
diverse,
Uh-huh.
and easily swayed by emotions.
I imagine.
Alcohol flowed freely,
Of course.
rivalries were intense, and sometimes all it took was a spark to ignite a brawl.
We talked about those fierce team rivalries, the greens and the blues.
Right?
Did those ever erupt into serious violence?
Absolutely. Imagine thousands of fans fueled by passion and maybe a bit too much wine.
Yeah.
Clashing in the stands, these riots could be brutal, bloody, and difficult to control.
It's a reminder that even in a place dedicated to entertainment, human passions could easily turn destructive.
It's true.
So gambling violence? What about the social tensions? How did those play out at the Circus Maximus?
Well, remember how we talked about the seating arrangements reflecting that strict Roman social hierarchy? Well, the circus was one of the few places where people from all walks of life mingled, even if it was within a controlled setting.
Right.
But those lines could easily blur.
In the heat of the moment, with all the excitement.
Exactly. The circus could become a melting pot of resentment, envy, and class conflict.
I see.
Imagine a wealthy senator jostled by a commoner,
Yeah.
a merchant cheated by a nobleman. The potential for conflict was always there, simmering beneath the surface.
So the Circus Maximus was a microcosm of Roman society, a place where the empire's strengths and weaknesses were on full display.
Precisely. And as the Roman Empire itself began to decline, so too did the fortunes of the Circus Maximus.
What led to its downfall? Was it a sudden collapse or more of a gradual decline?
It was more of a slow fade, you know?
Okay.
As Christianity gained influence in Roman society, the popularity of chariot racing waned.
It makes sense.
The spectacle of violence, the pagan rituals associated with the games, it clashed with the teachings of the new faith.
So changing values and beliefs played a role. What else contributed to the Circus Maximus's decline?
Well, as Rome's power waned, so did the resources needed to maintain the circus.
I imagine.
It fell into disrepair, a victim of neglect and changing times.
Yeah.
And with the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the Circus Maximus lost its patron, its protector, its source of funding and prestige.
So it just faded away.
It became a symbol of a bygone era, a relic of a lost empire.
What happened to it then?
Imagine this, the once mighty Circus Maximus, stripped of its grandeur, its marble and stone, repurposed to build houses, churches, even walls to defend the shrinking city.
Wow.
It became a quarry, a source of cheap building materials for a struggling population.
It's almost a poetic end in a way.
It is.
The grand spectacle reduced to rubble, its pieces absorbed back into the city itself.
And then nature took over.
Right.
Floods silting the gradual burial of the circus under layers of earth and debris, a process that continued for centuries.
And eventually it was just forgotten.
By the Middle Ages, the Circus Maximus was largely forgotten, a ghostly outline in the landscape, a whisper of a lost world.
And today all that remains is a grassy expanse, a few crumbling walls, a faint echo of the grandeur that once was.
But even in its ruined state, the Circus Maximus holds a powerful allure.
It does.
It speaks to us across the centuries, reminding us of the rise and fall of empires, the fleeting nature of glory.
It's also a reminder that even the most massive structures, the most enduring institutions, are ultimately temporary.
Exactly. The Circus Maximus serves as a powerful reminder that nothing lasts forever.
That's true.
It encourages us to reflect on our own time, our own values, and our own legacies.
So as we conclude our deep dive into the Circus Maximus, we're left with a sense of awe, a touch of melancholy, and perhaps a renewed appreciation for the enduring power of history.
And perhaps it's a reminder that even in ruins, even in fragments, the past can still speak to us, can still teach us, can still inspire us.
Thank you for joining us on this journey back in time. We hope you found it enlightening, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit thrilling.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to the deep dive for more fascinating explorations of history and knowledge.
Until next time,
Yeah.
keep those minds curious.